Vector Marketing has been in business since 1981. Since then, Vector has been helping students and adults by employing them as independent sales representatives for Cutco Cutlery. Cutco Cutlery has been in business since 1949. Their average sales per year are $150 million. They have a customer base of over 15 million people. Their products are made only in New York and are some of the best kitchen utensils made in the world. They also come with Forever Guarantee, which covers the replacement forever without ever charging the customer. Some of the world's most famous people have sewed Cutco while in college. Michael C. Hall from Showtime's Dexter, along with Neil Armstrong, to name a few. Vector Marketing has over 275 offices located all over North America, including Canada, Hawaii, and Alaska. During their peak season, they employ more than 10,000 college students at a time. Representatives start out with a base rate of pay, averaging over $15. The more our reps sell, there's room for incentives such as making up to 50% of everything sold. Unfortunately, Vector has a bad reputation, created by a multitude of things, from a required deposit on a sample kit, young management, and of course people who fail at the job. There are three types of people that make it in Vector Marketing: the successful sales rep, the successful manager, and of course the person who sold Cutco, and because of their success, they moved on to bigger things. With an opportunity as unique as the one Vector offers, there are tons of applicants from all types of backgrounds.
I'm 19 years old. I'm at just over $92,000 in career sales. I was in high school before Vector. I was planning to attend Quinsigamond Community College, going for criminal justice actually, and to be totally honest, I wasn't doing too much.
The summer before I worked there, I was doing concrete, I was pouring concrete floors, and I was doing more manual labor type work. So that was the summer right before I went to college and heard about Vector, so after that summer I was pretty excited to get far away from concrete.
Before Vector, I had been working in a redemption center at Yankee Spirits, which is a local liquor store in Sturbridge. And I had worked there for about 6 months before they actually fired me.
With Vector doing much of its advertising on Craigslist, in-hand flyers, word of mouth, and other various forms, it is interesting how people actually find out about the job.
I was one of the lucky people who got a letter in the mail. I said it was like Hogwarts. I got a letter in the mail. It had a fancy letterhead. It said Vector Marketing, so I was impressed. And really all I remember, I saw $18 and I just graduated, so $18 sounded pretty cool. I went for an interview. I had never heard anything about it before, so I just took it as any other job. I took it as an opportunity, and I jumped on it.
I heard about it on campus at Worcester State. They were doing a lot of advertising on campus. It was kind of funny. I got a flyer from somebody. I thought about calling, and I kind of put it aside somewhere. The very next day, I was at the cafeteria, and somebody came up and gave me another one and said, "Here, you could take one of these." And I said, "Oh, I already have one. You know, I'm all set." And the person just said, "Hey, I got to get out 1,000,000 of them. Would you mind taking another one?" And I took another one. I ended up losing the first flyer that I had, so had I not taken that second one, I probably would have never had the number to call. So, but I got a flyer, and I just called in about the job. Went down for an interview.
I took one of the little tabs off the poster and shoved it in my pocket. And 2 weeks went by. I never actually called the number. And I actually was online searching for work for students, and I stumbled upon their website, workforstudents.com. And I applied, and within the same day I was called in and spoke with the receptionist, and she scheduled me for an interview, and I went on down, and that's where it all started.
Once people find out about the job, they are scheduled for an interview where they are 90% likely to be hired, as long as they have a relatively outgoing personality.
It was pretty intimidating. It was my first professional interview. The recruiter, my manager, eventually, who became my manager, her name was Mara, and she was a very confident woman, reassured.
I went in for the interview, and I saw who I now know is Ryan Daverin. He cut a penny with scissors, and it just got me good. And I mean, all I knew was the knives were great, the scissors were awesome, and I got paid $18 for every appointment.
I wanted the job, I wanted to work, and she seemed like she was in charge, and I was going to have to earn the job.
Well, typically Vector does group interviews with multiple applicants being interviewed by the manager, and for some reason my interview was only me. So when I met Ryan for the first time, all we did was talk about football, and because he played at Worcester State for 4 years under the same coach as I, and we actually just really hit it off and kind of actually developed the first stages of a friendship on that day.
After that, I went home. There were a lot of people in my interview, so I was nervous when I was leaving, but I got home and I was waiting for his call. He said he was going to call me, and I got a call. I was really excited, nervous too, but he kind of joked with me a little bit, said, "Oh, you know, we have a lot of people applying, so on and so forth, but I have good news for you," and that's where it started.
And then he showed me the product. He cut the penny and he cut the rope, and man, I was impressed. I had no idea what I would be doing, but he explained to me the products and the pay, the way that we're paid, and I says, "All right, sign me up."
I remember sitting up really straight in my interview, trying to impress, and I don't even think I remember much about what happened during the interview other than just hoping that I was making a good impression.
Although training is not paid, it is long, yet worth every second spent learning the process of the demonstration. Training is where most Vector reps decide whether or not it's for them. In an average training group, 6 out of 10 trainees launch.
Actually, like going to train, my brother actually trained with me, and you know, he was a few years older than me, and I remember he seemed more interested in one of the girls that was working in the office than the actual job, and he almost, you know, it was just more, he was going to training and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna, you know, come with you," and obviously I intended on being in training anyway, but sometimes I wonder if my brother wasn't so gung-ho about this job, if I would still be here today. And it was mainly, his main motivation wasn't really, you know, I guess the job, but good things ended up happening, so.
I was just really impressed by the quality of the product, and I thought the whole time, hey, I would buy it. So no, I don't have money, but some of my friends' parents might have money.
And we sit up in that hot office for a good 6-7 hours, but it was so worth it, you know. Ryan had pulled me aside after the second day or the first day, and he had mentioned to me about the Rising Star program, and that really interested me because, you know, he saw something in me that no one else had ever seen, especially an employer.
All Vector reps perform their first demos with people they are the most comfortable with, this consisting of friends and family members. In this stage of the job, reps learn that you should never judge a book by its cover and always go into their demos with positive thoughts.